Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Player X here with Semi Limited Podcast. As usual, I just want to thank you guys for listening and tuning in, supporting the podcast in all the ways you do, whether it be sharing it with your friends or tuning in, maybe commenting on some of the things in the content you might see, or showing love on all of our social sites or whatever. Hey, it doesn't matter how you spread it, we just glad you are. So thank you for that and for tuning in and showing love, guys. Before we get into today's episode, there's a bunch of things I wanted to dig into, or at least talk about, discuss what happened over the weekend with YCS Santa Cruz, what we might be able to see this weekend coming up with YCS Richmond, as well as some sets that I wanted to talk about, including the new Rarity Collection set that I know everyone is so fond of, but maybe a little debate on whether or not Amazing Defenders might be the most amazing set that has released in 2023, which sounds a little bit, undertaking now, but I guarantee we'll have some sort of a back and forth and I might sway your way. But as usual, before we get into that, be sure to go down to that link tree down below in the description box. Click that follow on all those social sites. A tab will pull up with all the list of things that we got on there. So be sure to click on all of them, hit follow, subscribe, notification bells, thumbs up, whatever you got to do to make sure that you are a part of those communities. And guys, thank you so much, because we have finally hit 100 followers on not only YouTube, but we now hit it on Instagram as well. So appreciate it to that. Congratulations to us and to you guys as well for now being a part of another giveaway that we're going to be having. And that means at the end of this episode, we'll be announcing what you have to do to be entered into this giveaway for YouTube, because we have to do that one first. But we'll also do another giveaway for everyone when we do 50 followers on TikTok, which I've been uploading a little bit more consistently on, with some of the segments being perfect pulls. And then when we have 100 followers on X, and now when we have 200 followers on Instagram or YouTube, we'll do yet another giveaway. We just want to say that we love and appreciate you guys for it. Also means that we'll be giving away a prize for the 100 YouTube followers on the next episode, and by that you'll check out the end of it, how to do it in the end of this episode. Shout out to Unplugged Gaming in Manlius, New York for sponsoring the podcast. Just want to be sure that you guys are joining that Discord server in the description box down below. You can scroll down a little bit, click on that link, and join their Discord. You can join all their TCG communities that they got down there, whether it be One Piece, whether it be Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! You could have whatever you want down there. They're very, very open to all card games and all sorts of board games and stuff like that. And their communities are very, very tightly knit, and they're super family friendly. So I really do love that they are sponsoring the podcast. So go down there and show them some love. And if you happen to show up in store, be sure to tell them that the boys over at Semi Limited sent you, and they'll be sure to hook you up. Also, be sure to catch Brad, our partner, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Central Time. That'll be on his Twitch link, which is in the description box below on that link tree that we have right there. You'll be able to see it above ours. So you can go down there and join him. He's usually been grinding on Master Duel, but as of late, he said that his stream was pretty popping last Saturday, that he had some new people in there. The chat was actually kind of lit. They were making him do a bunch of like silly things, because you gather points the more you watch, and you're able to make the streamer actually contribute to something. So it's actually pretty cool. He said that it was a really nice stream, and I got to watch it over in the VOD, and I thought it was really nice. So shout out to everyone who came out and had a good time. We'll be doing it again next Saturday. So be sure to get in that link so you guys can catch all the latest hip hop that's going on with him. And now getting into today's episode, because I didn't want to hold you guys up with too much of that mumbo jumbo, but talking about YCS Santa Cruz that happened over the weekend, I think that it was pretty crazy to see that a lot of the representation for that event was strictly South Americans. Like, I think if I remember seeing the top 32, only one American player that I even recognized would be like Patrick Hoban had even either A, made it, or B, was in attendance. But it was crazy to see that Makanko actually took that whole thing down. For those who don't know, we'll be going over some of the breakdowns that we got. So I only had the top breakdowns for top 8, not top 32 or 16. So I apologize for that, but the information wasn't available to me at the time of recording. The top 8 is as such. We had 2 Unchained players, 2 Tier Elements players, Then we had one Sword Soul, one Rescue Ace, one Manadium, and then one Makanko. Then we switched it over to top 4, where there are now 2 tier, 1 Manadium and 1 Makanko. So the Rescue Ace, Sword Soul, and the 2 Unchained unfortunately took a fall. And then that leads us to the finals, where it was Manadium versus Makanko until, as you guys know, Makanko took it all down. They got the dub ski. So shout outs to him taking down the entire event. Congratulations. Definitely worked through quite the pool of cards to get there. That was like a really, really, I think, diverse representation for Top Cut that might be able to like bleed out a little bit more into what we might see as far as our format shifting up to, because now we got Age of Overlord is legal. We have the decks that are hit from the ban list kind of finding the crutches that they need to keep playing. Now with new decks, or sorry, new engines like Diabell Star and Horus entering into the decks, we see a spiking in Rescue Ace. It was like super crazy to see in Indianapolis, and then now to see it again in the top 8 for this YCS as well is just another testament to how strong that these new archetypes are. I should say engines are becoming part of these other archetypes and boosting them above. Manadium is one of the decks that kind of came out a little bit on the softer side and then has gotten multiple sets with support in it to bring it up to a status now where it's able to put up at least 5 or 6 disruptions for you, and that's, you know, uninterrupted going off, not even playing through things, where it could still put up about 3 interruptions. And although it's synchro based, don't get me wrong, those synchro cards definitely those synchro cards definitely can put in work. And then absolutely flabbergasted to see that Makanko took it all the way. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm kind of trying to sit here and think about it and analyze it. And I know it's a go second deck and it wants to do things like put monsters on your board with kaijus or tribute monsters or stuff like that. And then they also have inherent effects to special monsters from your graveyard to your opponent's side of the field. So that way they have monsters on the field and then they want to OTK punch you. But to see that really works, it's kind of crazy. I know it's kind of like a wild, wild west down there in South America. And it's like an anything goes type deal. Just because there's not as many, like, the budgets for the average player are much lower down there than they are in like the States or maybe in Europe. So it's definitely influential in the representative of decks that are allowed to be played, because like the gaps are too big for those budget players. But it's still, to see that someone who can take a Makanko go second deck all the way to the top, that's crazy. And he was fighting not against like some whack decks. Like, there is decks like Tier Elements in there, Unchained, which have proven themselves in this format. I'm pretty sure that we were looking at even Pat Hoban's list, who was on Manadium. So to see that he was even taken out, and that there were other decks in the format that still couldn't take out Makanko, I guess proves that, I guess, like, the little guy is capable of doing something in this format. So although South America isn't the best evidence of proving a format, it showed that other decks still have some shot at becoming a contender within this format, and you like to see that. It gives a bunch of other people who are more, I would say, not less competitive, but more on not playing what's meta, a reason to actually come out and play this format. And it gives them, I would say, a reason to get back into the lab and cook up something new and come bring something to the format that hasn't been played yet, because there's still, if you build it right, it still shows there's signs of potential from this format. And then bringing that into YCS Richmond, we just wanted to be bringing that into YCS Richmond, which is going to be upon us this weekend in Virginia. I mean, can we expect to see these same decks as well? I mean, I don't think, not to say that Manadium won't be there, that Rescue Ace won't be there. I think Rescue Ace is going to be a ton of, but I think that we'll see decks also like Branded has still a shot to be represented. It may not do like tremendously well, but that's still strong. That it's, even if it's paired with the Chimera engine. I think we're going to see Runic. Sprite definitely has a way of playing now with the SP Little Knight being brought out on your opponent's turn. I'm personally playing that myself. Pearly's definitely still a great contender in the format. and Rescue Ace obviously taking it by far, but not even that, but like Horus combined with Phantom Knights or even Tier Elements, because Tier Elements is another contender that's really, really well. I think those are decks that we might see more of coming into the states for that YCS, with more of the competitive players being there in attendance, more players, especially like Jesse Cotton and Chris LeBlanc, who are going to be trying to look for that 6th ring this year. I think it's the race to see who can get to 6th first and actually really claim that stake. And I just think that there's going to be a bunch of different things going on that allow us to see a little bit more what this format might be like, or what it might shift up to. I think I was having a conversation with someone at Locals, and we were talking about what this format might lead to, because cards do go in and out of formats, and like formats where Droll is in the main deck is kind of toxic formats. But I don't think I argued that I didn't think that it was toxic. I just think that it was very, very explosive, is I think the way I worded it, because these decks now have so many ways to go about their lines, and with 1 or 2 cards put up these, magnificent boards, and be able to, basically say, hey, crack my board and set up yours, and you basically won, or you can't crack mine and it's gone. And like we have decks like Rescue Ace that can play mid-range, or a Sprite that can also play mid-range, and they're looking to outgrind you or out-resource you, maybe with cards now like Typhon that can threaten a board, which I've seen in action too, which is pretty crazy. So I think that this is going to be more of an anticipant YCS as far as data for what we might see for the rest of the year, because with sets like the Rarity Collection coming out soon, a lot more players are going to have a lot more access to these cards that they need to be competitive, or at least step into that competitive scene. And I think this is the best way to kind of see what cards might be targeted out of these new sets, as well as what cards might be used to get these decks into the power level that they need to be for this competitive play. Speaking of YCS Richmond, I just want to mention that a couple of the Cuse boys are going to be partaking in that YCS as well. So shout out to all of the semi-limited sponsored teammates, although only 3 out of the 4 are going. So we're going to shout them all out. So congratulations to them for, going out and representing us at the 3v3 over in Rochester. They didn't quite make top cut, but they missed it by, a little bit by going 3-1-1, but they still did phenomenal in what I would say that just that time was not on their side for those games, and it was unfortunate. But shout outs to Albert Park, Ryan App, Brendan Agnon, and Matt Pelletier. So congratulations to them for representing the semi-limited team out there at all the major events out there. If you guys go see them, they have their own series of hoodies now, which look clean as fuck, as I might say. So go out there and take a picture or interact with them. Albert, Ryan, and Brendan will be in YCS Richmond, but I don't think Matt is going to be able to attend. He said, I think that he's caught up in something else. So be sure to go out there and root for them, the hometown heroes from Syracuse. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, now that every archetype within the set Amazing Defenders has won a YCS in some way, shape, or form, is it safe to say that Amazing Defenders was probably one of the most slept on sets of the year? Because I remember when that set first released, and it was like a laughed at side set, and the reprints I think in that set were actually carrying it. And then now we have archetypes like Rescue Ace that's topping. All of a sudden we had decks like Pearly that have done work and the YCS level as well, because we have Makanko, Rescue Ace, and Pearly were all 3 of the main archetypes that came out that didn't see any play when they first released, and then now we're seeing widely competitive spread play. And I just thought about it in a car ride the other day with another local player, and we were just talking about it back and forth, and he was saying that, like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Like, it's insane to say that. Who knew that if you would have told me back at the early end of this year that these decks would be doing anything competitively, let alone winning YCSs, I would have looked at you and said that you were probably crazy, that these were tier 2 decks at best. But to see that Makanko just won Santa Cruz. Rescue Ace just won Indiana like last week or the week before. Pirelli just won the 3v3 in YCS Sao Paulo, piloted by Kamal Crooks, who's an excellent pilot of that deck. It was crazy to see how they were doing well in like the competitive scene. I just thought that it's at least worth noting that amazing defenders in all these side sets, even side sets as back as far as like when we got Drytron, like that was another slept on set that everyone was kind of, you know, overlooking or thinking that it wasn't competitive enough. And it was showing that, all right, yeah, you could still find these side sets powerful enough to do some competitive play, maybe not off the rip, but if you wait a couple sets or be able to hold on to these cards that they're lower. So congratulations to anyone who got hydrants when they were like $5-6 because no one believed in it. Now they're setting in about $55-60 right now alongside that pumped up Diabell Star engine. So it's crazy to see how all these lower end sets can have higher end value later on down the road. And, you know, you never know what might have hidden value out there that you might want to start looking out for. So I don't know. Can we say that maybe Amazing Defenders is probably one of the most slept on sets of the year? I would argue so. I think that each archetype in that set having its own top and some sort of YCS level competition, I think it proves for itself, at least in one way, shape, or form. And then speaking of sets dropping before we close out today's episode, we also have the Rarity Collection that drops on Wednesday. It is going to be a set that is presenting several new rarities of your fan favorite cards. And then I think it's going to be the most anticipated set of the year that's including the 2023 Megatons. Like, this is hyped, guys. This is probably one of the bigger sets that we're going to get this year. And in my opinion, will be most likely the most open set of the year. I think way overthrowing the Megatons that usually is the most anticipated set of each year in the past. So I think that the new rarities that we're getting, that the card choices within these rarities are going to be absolutely outstanding, and I think they're all going to withhold the test of time. I think that this set is going to be wildly bought, and not only stores but as well as online to people trying to get their hands on it. And I think that maybe we might see a fall or a decline in prices for the first couple weeks, but I think over time this is one of the sets you want to keep, you know, packaged up and held, because with all these different types of rarities, all these different types of choices, all these different types of options and cards that are being in perm, things like Ash Blossom, things like Prosperity, you know, all these staple cards being reprinted in not only lower rarities but all these higher rarities as well, I think is something that will be beneficial to most over time for sure. I just want to know what you guys are looking forward to out of this set. So be sure to comment down below what you guys would like in the Rarity Collection set that we're getting later on this week. With that being said, guys, we are running out of time. Just wanted to remind you guys of all the stuff that we talked about beforehand, so about going down to that Linktree link and then hitting on that link and then hitting all the social sites on that tab. Just as you guys know, we're going to be doing another giveaway when we hit 50 followers on TikTok and 100 followers on Twitter. But we'll also be doing a giveaway later on this week on Friday for YouTube, and then next week for Instagram. So to be entered into that YouTube subscriber giveaway, all you have to do is these three things. You have to click that like button right on this video if you're watching on YouTube, which you should be. You're going to click that thumbs up so it says you have liked the video. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, because we're not going to give the prize away to anyone who's not subscribed. So being subscribed to the Semi-Limited Podcast channel is one of them. So make sure you click that subscribe button, and then you can also hit that bell notification to make sure that you are informed every time we have a new episode or a new drop for you guys, as well as new content for you guys coming 2 times a week. And then the third thing to be entered into this giveaway will be commenting on this video as well, one card that you're looking forward to in the Rarity Collection, whether it be in the lowest rarity so you can afford it, whether it be in the highest rarity because you're waiting to blow a bag on these, you know, shiny pieces of cardboard for flexing, or maybe you just like the the look of your deck or whatever it is. You tell us what you like and what you're looking forward to on the comment section down below. That's all you got to do, guys. On Thursday night, we'll be doing the drawing to be released on Friday's episode. So I'll be going through all the comments, making sure that you guys liked the video, making sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, and then I will pick one to be announced. You guys will be giving a secret hidden giveaway that will be revealed on Friday. So that way you guys can be shocked and awed and amazed. And then after that, we will be doing another giveaway the week following on Instagram for hitting that goal. So be sure to check out the next episodes coming up next week to be involved in those. So there's always another chance you guys can get in on all the action and claim a prize for yourself. Also, once again, shout outs to our Unplugged Gaming sponsors over there in Manlius, New York. You can be sure to check out their Discord down below or go in store it at their location in Manlius, New York. And if you are going there, be sure to mention the Semi-Limited podcast up front, and they'll be sure to hook you up. And then the last thing, again, guys, as you guys already know, Saturday night, be sure to check out Brad, aka Mr. Perfect. He will be streaming on Twitch 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 11 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. For those who are not in the United States or not in America, you guys can still be a part of it and still tune in and have fun with us, be involved in all the giveaways and action he got going on over there, and join in on all the fun. So that way you guys can check out not only us over here, but also us over there as well. With that being said, until next episode, guys, I am Player X, and you have been listening to the Semi-Limited podcast. Thank you, and good night.